Man, we're at this point, huh? Now, many of you are asking, why are you reviewing Rise of Skywalker again? You've already reviewed it twice. Well, I'm a completionist, you see. And me just reviewing the 8 Star Wars movies with the spin-offs is not enough. Now, don't get me wrong, this movie is a pile of shit. But I gave this movie another chance. You know why? Because if I can give The Last Jedi another chance, I can give this another chance. So I did, rightfully so. And it's still a pile of shit. I don't know what you expected me to say. Oh yeah, Rise of Skywalker is actually very good. Rise of Skywalker is the best Star Wars movie. No, this movie is a pile of shit. We just might go a very long time on this review because this time I had the movie at my disposal. It's not like last spoiler review where I tried remembering fragments of it. This time I have it. I took a lot of notes, and I mean a lot, and we're gonna go through this entire movie and why not only me but Evan as well, we fucking hate this movie and we're actually offended by this movie as a Star Wars fan. So before I start, how do you guys still feel the same way about Rise of Skywalker? Yes, no?
I feel it's even worse than I first saw it.
I'm basing off memory, but I'm just going to continue to stand by what I said. I enjoyed the majority of it, and I just hated that final act of it. That final hour, 30 minutes, however long that third act was.
Kevin, a third act can't be an hour and a half.
I said an hour, 30 minutes.
Kevin, an hour and 30 minutes is hour and a half. Do you not know how to tell time?
No. I meant like, either was an hour or 30 minutes or however long the third act was. I did not like it.
Okay. So, right off the bat, we're gonna go from beat for beat because this movie, oh my god. So, right off the bat, the opening crawl is really not good. It's a really stupid opening crawl. It's like the dead speak. Palpatine is like alive. Like they don't even let it happen naturally. It's just like, oh yeah, he's alive.
Yeah, he's there now.
And it's like, wow, thanks for telling us instead of us finding out. But so then we cut to a montage of Kylo tearing down through a planet, which admittedly looks fucking cool. I'd be lying to you if I said that did not look cool. Kylo Ren is a fucking beast. He's probably the best thing about this movie because they managed to not fuck up his character. I like how in this movie for the first 5 minutes, Kylo's motive is, oh, I want to take everyone out that threatens my power. So, like, the first thing in this movie that he says is, oh, I'm coming to Palpatine and I'm gonna fucking kill him. I like that. That's what I wanted out of The Last Jedi. Or, that's what I wanted out of this movie, but for the whole movie, not for 5 minutes. So first of all, I need to beg this question. Why is it so easy to find Palpatine? He's literally just find the Sith Wayfinder and then you go to Palpatine and he's there. I mean, if I was, you know, it's funny. Luke was like, oh, I'm on the most deserted planet in the galaxy when he was talking about the planet from Last Jedi. And I was like, dude, the planet that Palpatine is on is easier to get to than your planet. All you would need to do is find the Sith Wayfinder and it literally tells you where it is. The fuck are you claiming that it's so hard to find? But you gotta go through, I like how you have to get to the planet. You gotta go through this portal and it looks all cool and shit. So then we get some information By the way information is dealt with in this movie is horrendous. We find out that Snoke was a clone. What? How? Apparently, to my knowledge, Snoke was a clone created by Palpatine, and according to J.J. Abrams, this version of Palpatine is a clone also. How is he a clone? Where did he come from? How was he made? Who made him a clone?
Yeah,
this is
one of the same things. It's like why?
This is
At
the
this point, just resurrect Palpatine and it makes more sense.
This is the first 3 minutes of the movie. This is the first 3 minutes of the fucking movie. And then I gotta ask this question: why, if this was the case, if Palpatine was responsible for everything that happened, why? Why did Palpatine fuck with Kylo? Why did he make Snoke to torture him? Why did he... Because I'm assuming that if he made Snoke, then he's responsible for Rey and Kylo being connected with the Force, correct?
Yeah, probably. That would make sense.
So I need to beg the question, why him of all people? Because Palpatine is stronger than Kylo. The only thing that's fucked up with him is that he's a zombie. Other than that, I don't know why Palpatine would want him. Then, another question, how does Palpatine have all those Star Destroyer ships? Where did he get those?
I mean, a 30-year time jump cannot explain that.
This... oh... Again, this is the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Final order.
Yeah, that was stupid. That was stupid. So then, again, another question. I have all of these questions because these are logical questions. I'm not nitpicking. This is just me being logical and having the brain cells that Disney didn't. Okay? So if you're sitting here, oh, he's nitpicking, slap dick.
Yeah, that's not nitpicking. That's just... That's like not knowing what's going on.
If Kylo wanted so much power at the beginning of this movie, if he's on a warpath, right, to get all this power, why didn't he just kill Palpatine?
Yeah, he had every opportunity to kill Palpatine.
He literally
wiped the Force system.
What was Palpatine going to do? He was on his last breath. I'm assuming he couldn't shoot lightning out of his hand. He looked like a zombie. So what was
his former self?
And apparently Kylo, he could have just froze him and killed him. He knows how to force freeze. I don't understand. Why is Kylo sitting here like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do what you're telling me to do? What? He could kill Snoke, but he can't kill Palpatine? Oh my God.
That makes no sense.
Because apparently, according to the last...
It's not even real Palpatine.
Exactly, and according to the Last Jedi, he's stronger than Snoke because he's you know, going past the Force of that Snoke has. So I'm gonna assume that he's stronger than Snoke. He's stronger than Snoke, but he's not stronger than a half-dead Palpatine. Moving on.
Everyone's trying to say it's like, oh, he's conflicted, so he's gonna side with Palpatine to have a chance of getting this kind of power, even though he could
I don't know.
Like Snoke, and then just take it for himself.
I don't know. So then we get to Poe and Finn and everyone else, all wasted. Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, wasted in this movie. They're on the Millennium Falcon going to some planet because apparently there's a spy that is telling them about Palpatine, which this is another thing. Palpatine literally just tells the whole galaxy, oh yeah, I'm alive and I'm coming back. Why? Why?
You couldn't have been more suspenseful about it?
It's not even that. You're basically planning to take over the whole galaxy and you just let everybody know so they can stop you. How stupid do you have to be? That's like Thanos before actually. That's like Thanos before actually going on the hunt for the Infinity Stones, telling the whole universe, "Oh, by the way, I'm going for the Power Stone first. Then I'm gonna go for the Space Stone. Then the reality. Then the time. Then the mind. Don't try to stop me." Yes, clowns, I know I forgot the Soul Stone. You get the fucking point. So they do something in this movie called light speed skipping. What? They literally just go from planet to planet. I was like, what is this? Like, it came off just so weird. And then they're over here bickering about it. Oh, don't light speed jump or whatever the fuck it's called. I was like, oh my god. Again, this is the first 5 minutes of this movie. And I'm already regretting putting the fucking disc in the Blu-ray player. So then we see Rey, and this movie is attempting to tell us that she trained, which I'll get into later. It's showing us she's like surrounded by these rocks or whatever. She's saying she's trying to channel the other Jedi. I guess, you know, that's cool.
And this is gonna get to be like a whole thing with like during the movies. It's like all the Jedi are like in me right now. I have all the powers.
I do like that they show her training though, you know, for once. Which I'll get into why I'm complaining. Actually, I guess we could talk about it now. The reason that this movie frustrates me. You look at Empire, right? We see Luke training with Yoda for most of the movie, for like, say the whole second act. And then we find out that he went back to Dagobah and learned with with Yoda and Obi-Wan as well. So that's why in Return of the Jedi, we're able to believe that he is, you know, this Master Jedi. In this movie, we see one scene of Rey training. We see one scene of Rey training. How are we supposed to believe that? And yes, I know the time jump in this movie is a year. They don't make us aware of that. They don't make us aware of that. In Return of the Jedi, you can clearly tell, oh yeah, there was a time jump. In this movie, the time jump looked like it was 5 days. At least 5 days. This movie doesn't feel like anything has happened since Last Jedi. Honestly, it really doesn't. This movie kind of just picks up where everything left off, and we're back. That's it. It doesn't make you feel like anything has progressed. And that's a terrible way of storytelling. You know, you look at Endgame, right? Endgame, immediately you can tell, and don't get me wrong, it tells you that there's a time jump. But if they didn't say, oh, 5 years later, would you guys still be able to tell that there was a time jump in Endgame?
For sure, yeah.
I would.
Yeah,
considering
it looks like it's been 5 years.
I wouldn't guess that it was 5 years, but I would still guess that there's a time jump. So then Rey calls Leia her master, to which I beg the question that, first of all, that just seems so weird to me that Leia trains Rey. Now, we get an explanation for this later in the movie, but as it stands, we don't know what Leia learned. So her calling Rey calling her master makes no sense. I understand why she's calling her that, because she trained her, but realistically, when you look at the entire scope of the series so far, they have never pinpointed anything in terms of Leia knowing anything more about the Force than Luke did. If anything, she knew less about the Force than Luke did.
Yeah, probably less.
So I don't understand that. Then, so Finn, Poe, and Rey, and everyone, and they come back. I mean, not Rey. They all come back, and The Last Jedi, when The Last Jedi ended, Poe and Rey met for the first time. So, you were thinking, oh, they're probably gonna be good friends. No. So, in this movie, they are always arguing. And it's like, why? They argued like a married couple. And it's like, how are you, like, what happened in this whole year that makes you not like each other? I don't know. Like, throughout this whole movie, Finn, Rey, Poe, they're always arguing with each other. It's like, are you guys friends or not? I don't know. That annoys the shit out of me. And it makes Poe super unlikable in this movie. Every time he argues, it's like, dude, shut up. So then they find out that Palpatine, what Palpatine's plan is. Again, why he did that like that, I don't know. These are the questions I need to be asking right now. So, hold on, let me gather myself here. Oh, this is another thing. So, Rose is in this movie. I know, you can hear my cries from inside. Rose is in this movie, barely, thank the Lord. If J.J. Abrams had any part in Rose not being in this movie, I will send that man a fruit basket. So, Rose is barely in this movie, and for some reason, you guys know that they set up a relationship between Finn and Rose in Last Jedi. In this movie, they're not a couple at all. They're just kind of friends. Again, did something happen in the time jump? This movie does not explain. You know what's funny? This movie explains the wrong things. I think that's the problem with this movie. This movie explains the wrong things. Every question, everything that it explains is either unnecessary or something we did not need to know. And the things that we do want to know, this movie doesn't fucking tell us. Carrie Fisher once again is amazing as Leia, rest in peace. Kylo puts his mask back together. I don't know why. It looks cool. I don't know why he put it back together. He literally gets rid of it 2 seconds later. But it does look cool. And this leads me into my big problem with this movie. In the first 10-15 minutes of this movie, 20 minutes, Kylo is hunting down Rey. He is hunting down Rey to kill her. That is perfect. That is what I wanted. This whole movie should have been Kylo as the main villain. And having Kylo want to kill Rey because she makes him look like a joke. In terms of her beating him with the Force and in that fight in the forest. How hard is that? How hard is that? Why did Palpatine need to be controlling him? Why did he need to be under somebody's thumb again? Now, in The Last Jedi, I was okay with it because according to Snoke, he was still training. So I was like, okay, that makes sense. But in this movie, it doesn't make sense anymore. He killed Snoke. He killed his master. That, by default, tells me that he's ready to be on his own. Why you need Palpatine in this movie, I don't fucking know. And then they set up a romance in this movie too, which we will get to.
Oh, that's gonna be a long time for it.
I do like how they maintain the conflict between Rey and Poe though. Oh my god, Kylo, how they're still at odds because of what happened with Han and in The Last Jedi with the lightsaber and everything. I do like that. You know, that was the arc that I liked from Last Jedi and The Force Awakens. So they're on this planet looking for this Sith Wayfinder, whatever the fuck it's called, and they run into Lando. Billy D. Williams, who I love seeing, he was clearly wise. He probably told J.J. Abrams, listen, motherfucker, if you putting me in this movie, you're not killing me, and if you're killing me, I'm not being in this movie. So, Billy D. Williams is barely in this movie. Do I have complaints? No. He doesn't have an effect on the movie until the end. I had no issue seeing Billy D. Williams. He's fantastic. Am I glad that he's barely in the movie? You're fucking right. You're damn right. Because if he's not dead, that's better for me. I don't have to watch another one of my favorite characters die stupidly. So then we get a chase sequence through the desert. It's okay, I guess. I like the jet troopers. So then they fall into like this pit, and Finn is like, oh, Ray, I gotta tell you something, and then they fall through the pit, and then they keep it a big secret. I know the secret. J.J. Abrams came out and said that Finn is force sensitive. I'll get back to that once we talk about the third act of this movie. But yeah, that's the secret, that he's force sensitive. So then...
Weird, sorry,
yeah.
Weird side note, the guy right to the right of his leader was like whispering, just like, oh, there's another relationship. I'm like, dude, it's not that.
Honestly, I thought that's what it was. I thought he was gonna say, I love you.
I thought it was too, but then...
yeah, that was...
thought they were going for a cheap joke. But they tease it so much in this movie, that like, especially in the end when they're like all about to die, and he's like, oh, I gotta do something, and she was like, oh, how do you know it's gonna work? And he goes, oh, just a feeling. Like, do you think we're stupid? Do you honestly think we're fucking stupid, Disney? So they find like this worm thing, and it's like dying, and somebody clearly saw the recent episode of The Mandalorian that week and said, oh, we can do that. So she force heals this worm thing, to which I ask, where did she learn how to do that?
Yeah, it's been a year and a time. How did she do it?
Again, this movie does not tell us anything. I get it, you're trying to show us instead of telling us, but something like that, we need to know where she learned it. You can't just show me that she knows how to do all these things. Some of the things that she does, okay, it makes sense. But there's other things where it's like, that just, Leia would not know how to do that. I'm sorry. Leia would not know how to do that. And Luke didn't teach her anything. Leia would not know how to do that. I'm sorry. Unless she read it in the text, I'm okay with that. Show me that.
Yeah, come on, that's hard.
And I don't know if she was taking lessons. Maybe she was taking lessons from Baby Yoda. I don't know. Maybe the Mandalorian lost the Baby Yoda one day, and he was looking for him, and Rey found him, and it's like, oh. And Yoda's like, oh, I can do this, watch this. And maybe he healed the paper cut for her, and maybe he tried teaching her how to do it. I don't fucking know. Is that what you want me to believe, Disney? I'm gonna believe that that's what happened. Until I get an explanation on how she learned how to force heal, I'm gonna believe that she took a lesson from Baby Yoda.
Even though the time that between Mandalorian and Rise of Skywalker is how long exactly?
Nintendo, there was zero logic going into this movie. You think I'm gonna use logic now?
I was just curious. So I forget the times in between.
I think it's before Force Awakens. I think, if I'm correct.
Oh, it's before.
I think so. I think so. So we get to a scene where at first when I saw this movie with Kevin, I immediately got pissed off because I couldn't see it. because this movie barely fucking shows it. Chewie gets captured, right? Let me take a sip of my cold beverage.
Oh, here we go.
Oh shit.
Chewie gets captured, right? And they briefly showed 2 ships. Now, if you blink, you miss it. And I mean you miss it. I had to pause it and go back to see. Yes, there are 2 ships. But yeah, I just wanted to establish that, because when I first saw this movie, I saw this movie in IMAX and I clearly missed it. I don't know how.
The screen was too big.
Literally, I felt like watch Rise of Skywalker without. Yeah, have fun with that.
Yeah, don't blink and miss the dog shit. So then we get a shot of Kylo in a TIE fighter coming towards Rey, and I both mean that in the sexual and literal way. I mean, we didn't see what was happening behind the scenes. I'm just saying, considering how this movie fucking ends, I wouldn't be surprised. So he's like going towards her in a TIE fighter, and Rey does a pretty cool move, if you ask me. She does like a backflip and she cuts off one of the ends of the TIE fighter. It looked fucking incredible. So then the TIE fighter slides away from Rey. That rhymed, cool. And it blows up. Like, it literally blows up. And then Kylo's just walking out with no scratches. What? I understand Mr. Ren is a beast. I know that. But how?
You put like a couple of scars on his face, or like his arm, or like rips in his chest.
Meanwhile,
I'm fine with that.
Meanwhile, at the end of
meanwhile,
at the end of the 3rd act, Rey looks like she fought a wild wildebeest with all the blood that she had on her. So, I gotta ask, what was Kylo gonna do? Like, realistically, what was Kylo gonna do? What was he gonna do? Dunk with the TIE fighter? Like, he had to have known that she was gonna do that. Otherwise, what was your plan? Oh, this fucking movie, I swear to God. So,
it's just like I don't care, just go.
So, Rey sees that Chewie's being taken, and
this scene was nearly cool, but there was one thing that was...
So the ship is flying away, and she grabs it with the Force, which immediately people thought of the Force Unleashed, which that's pretty much what it is. The game Star Wars Force Unleashed, that's pretty much what it was harkening back to. Yeah. So, and then Kylo grabs the ship, and it's like a tug of war with the Force. I was like, whoa, that's cool. And they're both grabbing it. Out of fucking nowhere, she shoots lightning out of her fucking hands. Now, don't get me wrong, it was a what the fuck moment. Everyone in my theater was like, whoa. But
and then all of a sudden I just hear people come in the background. Chewie's dead.
Yeah, that was sad too, because number one, you had to process the fact that she just shot fucking Force lightning out of her hands. And then the other thing is, Chewie's like dead. And if Chewie would have died, I would have been like, oh, this movie's gonna take risks. Okay, I'm down. 5 seconds later, they reveal Chewie's alive.
And the ship hasn't even taken off.
And if you think I'm exaggerating, I am not. It's literally, this is what happens. Literally, they reveal that Chewie died, then they're on the ship saying, oh no, Chewie's dead or whatever. And then, literally, Hux comes on the ship and is like, oh, we got a prisoner, and Chewie's there.
This is like J.J. Abrams playing take-back seasons. Like, oh, no.
It's like they wanted to kill Chewie, and then 5 seconds later, they didn't want to do it, but they were like, oh, well, the movie's already filmed, so fuck it. Okay, let me gather myself.
seal it with flex tape. That should.
Now, I will say this. I liked how they were kind of implying that Rey, like when she loses control of her emotions, that she's gonna snap. I did like that because she wasn't focused on Chewie. She was really focused on Kylo, and I liked how she got pissed, and then the Force lightning came out. If they had kept going with that. Oh, excuse me. If they had kept going with that in the movie, I would have been perfectly fine with that. But they dropped that immediately. So it's like, well, you had something interesting, and then now you don't.
It's just like...
Which is ironic because that's what happened with this fucking trilogy. Disney!
So she turns to Palpatine, and then turns to a regular human being, and he's just crying the fact that she was dead. Instead of, like, channeling that energy and being like, you, Kylo, you're gonna die. That would've been cool. But no, it didn't happen.
So then they find, they find this fucking stupid dagger that tells them where to get another Sith Wayfinder at, and they have to go to this criminal underworld planet, which I like that there's a planet like that. It reminded me of the planet in the opening scene from Solo, basically. So they go to this planet, they meet up with Carrie Russell's character, who's fucking wasted in this movie. They hyped her character up so much before the movie came out, she was wasted. She plays like an old flame of Poe, I guess. And they what did they have to, they had to go there because 3PO couldn't read the dagger without being
without being corrupted because it's Sith language that he's coded against,
which I find stupid. It's like, dude, it's just a language and you're not even doing anything bad, you're just reading it. I guess this is Disney's way of telling you don't be smart because it's telling him not to read. Just saying. I was always told that reading is a fundamental skill of life. According to this movie, it's not. I guess this movie's telling me that I can't read Nazi or German. Not to be racist, I'm just saying.
Yeah. Also, like being like.
Oh, let me rephrase that joke. Let me rephrase that joke. This movie's basically telling me that in World War II, the Americans couldn't read a Nazi book. There you go. That's a not racist way to say the joke.
Also, the fact that like, the double text, like if you can read double text and weird, that kind of thing.
Yeah. This. Oh my god. I don't think half the people that made this movie were able to read.
It's like the script, and it's literally just like scribble and like crayon. It's just like,
oh yeah, this movie was written in red crayon. I have the inside scoop. I get all the news.
It took an entire recess of first graders to make that whole.
It was the script was written in red crayon, right? Then the title was written in red, big bold red marker, and it was like freaking misspelled. Obliterated. It was misspelled. The R was backwards, and it was dumped. It was dumped in nothing but pink glitter. There you go.
That's
moving on.
Yeah,
basically. I didn't get it wrong. I didn't write the script. They did. I'm just telling you what they did. Don't kill the messenger.
Don't get it twisted.
Moving on, they show us that there's like a new general for the First Order. He's fucking awesome. He's a dick, and
for sure.
This is my question, and a lot of people had this complaint. Why wasn't he Hux? Like, Hux is a little bitch. And I think I wrote it in my notes about 3 fucking times that Hux is just a little bitch. Why wasn't...
What a big piece of shit. What a
like,
big pussy.
why couldn't... Yeah, he is a pussy. But why couldn't, like, this guy just be the new general? He's a dick. You like him too. Like, I liked him. Every time he was on screen, I was like, oh, this guy's cool. He didn't have enough screen time.
Where was he in the Force Awakens and the Last Jedi when you needed him?
Well, I mean,
what the heck is he?
well, I mean, you could have had him in Last Jedi and it would have been fine, but... So, I like how 3PO, like, to read the dagger, they had to, like, wipe his memory, and he, like, fake dies. A lot of people fake die in this movie.
Like,
but
as soon as he reads it, his eyes turn red.
That's what I didn't like.
Bye-bye.
Which, that was a pretty scary visual, seeing his red... Like, the sound effect was really scary, too, though. And he just, like, fucking has a seizure. I was like, oh my god.
I feel like what Tyler said before, like, oh, they were gonna take risks this time, and that's what I felt like they should have done. Because, what is it? You know, you could have had Finn dying in Last Jedi. You could have had Chewie dying, or you could have had C-3PO legitimately got his memory wiped, and he was...
No, but you see, the issue, I do agree... I do agree with you. No, but it didn't last because R2 fixed him. But I do agree with you on that. But the difference with Last Jedi in this movie is that Finn needed to die in Last Jedi because it made sense. Chewie didn't need to die in this movie. I would have liked it in the sense that they were taking risks, but I didn't want it to happen. And don't get me wrong, I know, but I didn't want Finn to die either. Don't get me wrong, I love Finn, but it made sense. If Chewie was to die in this movie, it wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Last time would make sense, and then the whole love triangle thing would be completely averted and that would be one less complaint with this movie.
Yeah.
On top of the pile of dog shit.
So I like how 3PO like is like, oh listen, I gotta sacrifice myself, like, and he's okay with it too because he's like, oh, it's for the better good. I like that. They introduced a new droid. I don't even remember. I think his name was like Theo or something. I don't care. Remember. Long story short, I fucking hate this droid because you look at the other droids, right? The reason, like, people think, why are R2 and BB-8 hilarious? Because they don't speak physical words. And even 3PO, the only reason 3PO is really funny is because he, like, what he says is funny. Exactly. This droid, for some reason, just annoyed the shit out of me. I don't like this droid.
Yeah.
I like droids, especially C-3PO, R2, and BB-8.
And K2SO. K2SO is an exception.
Yeah, but they were funny, but they were also useful. You know.
3PO is not useful.
He did one thing.
Oh,
well, I mean, in this movie he's useful, but
I found the name of the droid. In case you want to know. It was
what is it?
I think.
Oh, D-O, yeah. I thought it was Theo. I was gonna say, why did they give him like a human name? Well, I mean, they named Kylo Ben, so I guess that makes sense.
I mean, yeah.
I think Kylo has probably the most generic name in Star Wars history. Like Luke, people would argue Luke is a generic name, but even that name is not really common. I don't meet that many people named Luke, so.
Oh, the amount of people I know the name Ben is insane.
Ben.
Like at least 5 people that are named Ben.
On the land, went into generic street when making up the name.
So they go to the Star Destroyer to get Chewie. Oh fuck, I went Kylo. They went to go get Chewie, and Rey again does a Jedi mind trick. Where did she learn that? Moving on.
In here. Explain.
Sorry for the ear raid, but I need to put emphasis on the fucking question. Moving on. So then we get a scene where Finn and everybody are just running through a hallway, just pew 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 pew. I guess they turned God mode on. Literally no damage. I guess so. So this movie introduces female stormtroopers, which I'm surprised they weren't there already.
What's up, Phasma, technically?
Well, Phasma's not really. Phasma's like, she's. I don't know. I don't consider Phasma a stormtrooper. I don't know.
Even though
she technically is, but she's technically not. I don't know. So then we get probably one of my favorite scenes in this movie, which there are very few of those. Rey and Kylo have a lightsaber fight through the Force, because they actually kept the concept of Rey and Kylo's Force FaceTime through the Force, and they have a lightsaber fight through the Force. I think this is fucking cool, how they have a lightsaber fight through the Force, and I like how the movie is showing the different locations. Like, one point it'll show Rey on the Star Destroyer, but then it'll show Kylo down in the city. I like that. And I like how sometimes they'll hit something and it'll come to that different location. I like that. And I also like how when they both hit the Darth Vader helmet, and the Vader helmet falls to where Kylo is, and he goes, "Oh, I know where she is." I like that. That's a cool little thing. So then we get a reveal that Hux is a rebel spy.
The way that happened, bro.
like,
listen.
They reveal, no, like they go and well, they're in jail or
they're captured,
prison, whatever, captured or but I don't care. This movie sucks. And it's like they get free all of a sudden. It's just General Hux is like looking back and forth. No one's there. It's like, I'm a spy.
It was, I'm not gonna lie, the moment was hilarious. I laughed so hard. But then when you really think about it, you're like, what? You're like, you of all people, what? I would have taken the dickhead general over Hux being the spy. I was like, oh my god. The way he says it though, I'm the spy. I was like, oh my god, this fucking movie. It is funny though. I would be, but it, in the terms of the movie, it just doesn't make any sense. No, I did like Poe's line when he goes, "I knew it." I like that. That's funny.
It's because they knew he was such a big freaking idiot, and he was a big pussy. So they're like, "Oh, of course, the scary cats have to be the one."
I do like. Okay, the moment is stupid, but I do like how. I do like his motive for it. I like how he says, "Oh, don't get me wrong, I want to see the resistance fall, but if Kylo's not in charge, then I don't care." I did like that. Yeah, it makes him a little bitch, but I did like it.
I mean, he has always been.
I literally put in my notes, so Hux was jealous of Kylo. What a fucking loser. LMAO.
It's like a text, like, two, like, kids would be having, it's like, gossiping about other people. Oh my.
So, then we get the reveal that Rey is a Palpatine.
It's just out of the blue, it's just like...
I mean, it's not really out of the blue. I mean, when you saw the lightning come out of her hand, you kind of... You didn't think it at the time, but you can kind of understand that moment.
Okay. In that sense, yes. But this is what I suggest. Why couldn't you have it, instead of her being related to Palpatine? Oh, this is another thing, by the way, that I realized. Both Rey and Kylo, oh, I think I mentioned this in The Force Awakens. Both Rey and Kylo are related to the biggest dickheads in the galaxy.
Yeah.
But this is my issue. Why couldn't you have it be? They put such a big emphasis on this in The Force Awakens or Last Jedi, that she had the dark side, she didn't know what to do with it, right? Why couldn't you make it that instead of her being affiliated to Palpatine, that was just the dark side coming out of her because she was getting ahead of herself, or her emotions got the best of her and she lost her mind? How hard is that? It saves us a stupid ass third act, and it saves us, you know, it saves us like Palpatine being in this movie, and it also gives Rey an interesting arc. But no, they just took the easy way out. That's to me the easy way out. Making her a Palpatine. That is the easy way out. People argue, oh well, they did that with Kylo. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. Making Kylo Han's son was not an easy way out. Making Kylo Luke's son would have been an easy way out.
Yeah, that.
But yeah, and then the reveal is so stupid. First of all, how does... This is what doesn't make any sense either. Throughout the whole movie, up to this point, Kylo is telling Rey, your parents are nobodies, your parents are nobodies, your parents are nobodies. I'm assuming that Palpatine told him that she was a Palpatine. So why, throughout this whole movie, every time they meet up, he tells her, your parents are nobodies, and then now he wants to tell her, oh yeah, you're a Palpatine.
It's just... You could have alluded to the fact that it's like you're part of something bigger.
And this goes back, this goes back to what Last Jedi set up. This goes back to what Last Jedi set up. Last Jedi set up the fact that she was a nobody, and they were emphasizing the theme of you can be somebody from a nobody. That is a great theme. What does this movie do? Oh, we're gonna throw it out for the sake of having her be related to somebody in Star Wars lore. This movie's a fucking joke, I swear to God. FYI, guys, we might have to split this review into 2 parts because I'm not even halfway through this fucking movie yet, and we're running low on time on the PlayStation. So, if it turns into 2 parts, you know why.
Maybe 3.
No, not 3. Okay. Definitely not 3.
That would be bad.
So, hold on, let me gather myself. Oh, and I said that the reveal means absolutely nothing, and it just feels meaningless. Literally, he just tells her. Now, granted, this was my issue with how they revealed Han being Kylo's father. They revealed it basically the same way. And I'm not defending that either, because I hated the way they did that in that movie. So, for all the dick suckers that want to say, oh, you defend Force Awakens, but not Rise of Skywalker. Clearly, I didn't. So, this is when I went on a rant halfway through this movie. I said, the biggest issue with this movie, and this is halfway through the movie, before anything cool happens. The biggest issue with this movie is the fact that nothing feels important. They're going on this mission to get Palpatine, to get to Palpatine, but you don't care because they didn't set up Palpatine in any way that makes you give a shit. He's in the first 5 minutes, and that's it. You don't see him again until the 3rd act. Secondly, in The Force Awakens, everything felt like it had a meaning and a purpose. In The Last Jedi, everything with Rey, Luke, and some of the stuff with Finn, and everything with Poe felt important. Nothing in this movie at all feels like it matters or has a point to it. And I still stand by that point. It feels like...
Literally how they got it.
It really feels like in this movie, it's just events happening.
Just like... This is just like, oh, this is happening, oh, this is happening, oh, this is happening. Everyone's just like, why? Well, why is it happening? Don't care, moving on. Keep going, keep.
So, then they go to the planet. I really like this planet. The water planet or whatever. It's really cool. So then they look for the dagger, or they look at the dagger that tells them where the thing is supposed to be. I don't understand how that thing was supposed to tell her where anything was. She literally just moved it, and it pointed somewhere. But this is the thing, though. The thing was always pointing to somewhere. So it's like, what made her looking at the Death Star so special? Like, what made it click in her head? Oh, that's where it is. I don't know. To me, that would be like a video game moment when you're like looking for it and you finally find it and it like highlights itself.
And also, when I feel like it was like one of those like just happened to be moments, like when they show her aligning it with the Death Star. I'm like, well, that just happened to be so goddamn convenient.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, it doesn't make any sense. How would she know that it was in the Death Star? Seriously. I feel like it was the movie just, like, basically did it because it's like, oh, yeah, it's the Death Star. Why wouldn't it be in the Death Star?
Can't be in the grass somewhere in underwater. Who knows?
That would have been cool if it was, like, hidden in an underwater Jedi temple. Why do we have to do the thinking for you, Disney? Please tell me. We've been on this review for almost 50 minutes, and I've made a better movie than you ever could in your sleep. So she goes to the Death Star, and they meet up with this other character too. Hand over her. I don't know her fucking name, and I'm not looking it up because she doesn't matter. She's introduced.
Another movie.
I do like her character in the sense of where she comes from. She says, oh, that she's basically the opposite to Finn. Well, not opposite, the exact. I don't know what word I'm trying to say.
She's the same backstory.
She's a female Finn. She's basically a female Finn, basically.
Essentially.
She was a stormtrooper that ran away from the fleet, and that's the only character relationship that she has with Finn. Literally, she tells him that, and they're best friends. It's like, so because you're both refugees, so it's like because you're both refugees, you're like best friends? Okay. Hey Kevin, let's go join the army and then go get kicked out of the army and then we'll be best friends.
I might as well join that too.
Sounds like a plan. I mean, worked out for Finn and what's her face, so why not? So then there's a scene where Rey goes to the Death Star from Return of the Jedi, I must say. Which, this doesn't make any sense why the Death Star is here and not on Endor. I don't understand why it fell here and not in Endor if the Death Star was above Endor. I don't know. To me, that just seems odd. Yeah, I would imagine, right? You just fucking just hear all this ruckus. What the hell was that? They made another Death Star. Okay. So
no worries,
wait, did they? Well, now that I think about it, did they ever say which Death Star that was? Or was that the second?
It was Return of the Jedi.
It was the second.
I think because they said they made a mention of it that it was like the War of Endor or something. I don't know. I know for a fact they mentioned that it was the Endor Death Star.
The only thing that would make it pointed towards Return of the Jedi was that little throne room that they have.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. They look at you. You just answered your own question. So Rey goes to the Death Star. She's looking for the Wayfinder. This is gonna be the final thing I talk about before we switch to the second part. She runs into her evil twin. That has a double-bladed. No. Let me finish. She has a double-bladed lightsaber that everybody was over here jerking off to in the trailer when it first came out. Everyone was like, oh my god, she has a red lightsaber, she's on the dark side, oh my god. The Star Wars fan base is fucking retarded. I swear to God.
Weren't you also the same person who said that you would be interested in a kind of dark side of Rey?
No. There is a difference. Yes, I am interested in that, but this is not that. That's not what this is, you moron!
No, I'm saying like the kind of image of it, not the what actually happens.
I guess. But it doesn't matter because the movie, it doesn't have an impact on the movie, so what does it matter?
I don't know, I feel like that reveal at the trailer kind of made me think, oh, it's gonna be kind of...
First of all,
see like that evil Rey that you were talking about.
when they revealed it in the trailer, you immediately knew that it wasn't going to be important. If they revealed it in the trailer, it's not going to be important. That's just a rule, unless you're Sony and you throw in everything for your Spider-Man movie in one trailer.
Also, the Knights in Pet Cemetery when they threw the twist in the trailer.
Yeah, but yeah, if they showed it in the trailer, so everyone immediately knew. Okay, it's either a Force vision or something. Well, it's something.
Even I know it was gonna be.
The moment is so stupid when they have that. I like the shot where they lock up lightsabers and it shows them both on both sides, but then she like
This part made me cringe.
she shows her fucking teeth and she's got like vampire teeth, and Rey's like "Ah!" and backs up and drops the Wayfinder. I was like, oh my god,
You retard!
What are you doing?
So then we get easily the best part of this movie. Rey and Kylo have a lightsaber fight over a huge roaring ocean that just made it look like it was a tsunami happening. Regardless, this shit is fucking incredible. This lightsaber fight to me is up there with the Finn and Kylo one. I think it's awesome. I love the sound design of the lightsabers. I love that one shot where it shows them fighting over the ocean, but you don't hear the lightsabers, you hear the ocean and you just see the lightsabers clashing. I love that. I love the part where they go to hit each other and they stop the lightsabers with the Force. I love that. That's fucking incredible. Then it ends abruptly. So Leia, out of nowhere, I don't know what she was waiting for. I don't know. Maybe the nursing home closed late. I don't know. She immediately out of nowhere. Oh, I need to channel the Force to help Rey. So she goes and. Yeah, essentially, that's what she does. She channels the Force, she contacts Kylo, and then Rey takes his lightsaber and stabs him. Now, this is my thing, right? Don't you think it would have been a little bit better if Rey had the arc in this movie of, oh, you made me kill Kylo, or something like that, right? Or Kylo died because he was doing your dirty work, Palpatine's dirty work. So then he dies, and she goes to kill Palpatine to avenge him. Don't you think it would have been a little bit better if that's how the third act of this movie was? Now don't get me wrong, Palpatine is still in the third act of this movie, but at least the story makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know, I think part of that would be like, oh, because he's technically unarmed, so if Rey goes ahead and kills him...
Oh, please don't start bringing prequel logic into this, Kevin. Please, for the love of God. Please, please, for the love of God. Please, don't start. Don't give me the Mace... No, don't give me the Mace Windu CGI Yoda logic of the prequels. For the love of mankind. You are gonna make me hurl the steak dinner that I had today. Fucking prequel logic. I had to throw you in a fucking TIE fighter and throw you off a cliff for that. Fucking prequel logic bullshit. I'm gonna stop it right here. We're gonna go right into the second part. More than likely both videos are gonna be up by here, so just go watch the second part.